So as you may or may not know, I released a Babyface's Blaster video as part of the pilot series for How Bad Could It Be. I discussed its redeemable qualities and mentioned that it would hopefully get a buff in the big upcoming summer update. It didn't, by the way. And immediately after, I started work on the next video in the series, the Eureka effect, and unfortunately, during the last stage of production for the video, the editing, the Meet Your Match update dropped, on a week that I was convinced would not be the release week, and somewhere amongst the Nito and Cool Bean memes, I was livid. This was a minor annoyance, a mere day before its intended yet delayed release, but this was good, as it fixed a lot of the problems I had with it, even if it caused me to trash a good script and a collaboration with my good pal who was to narrate it. The damn thing now has a clear purpose compared to its prior state, which made it pretty hard to actually use with its metal receive penalty, build penalty, and just barely useful teleportation mechanic. This was only truly useful to troll or use pre-match to get your buildings out, not even upgrade most of the time. With all that said, let's get right into what makes the Eureka effect at least a little usable now, maybe even viable? You've heard me talk about how bad it is, but wait, it gets better. The Eureka effect was a weapon very rarely used by seasoned players who knew it was nothing to write home about. It was really only useful for a select few situations that were the jag effect and shotgun trolling. As an engineer main, I never saw the potential or reason for owning this monstrosity of a weapon. I thought of it as a tool, something you use only so often in a situation where you need the extra metal output. However, this is no longer the case. The Eureka effect is now clear in what it tries to do, which is make engineers more reliable and more willing to build a teleporter. Along with the overall decrease in level 1 teleporter cost being reduced to 50, the Eureka effect cuts that cost in half by 50% now, making it relatively cheap and easy to upgrade teleporters, with the max metal cost to build at level 3 being 225 as opposed to the normal 450. Damn, that's a cheap teleport. They even reduced the 50% less metal from dispensers and pickups to 20%. This means that the engineer can now more reliably build buildings. He still outputs very little metal into his buildings, but he gets it back much easier and much faster. The build penalty wasn't something that bothered me so much, it was the idea that I had to really search and leech off those ammo packs when I used the Eureka effect in order to keep building. You were oftentimes left with absolutely no metal at the end of the day, with little hope of getting it back from the ammo-hungry heavies, demos, and soldiers. Now, let's talk about what may very well be the main draw of the Eureka effect, and why it makes me tingle in my tummy. Its teleportation mechanic. This wasn't nerfed or buffed in any way, but we can't talk about a wrench made for the purpose of promoting transposing your molecules from one point in spacetime to the next without mentioning it. Its teleportation mechanic is an amazing tool, very useful if you need to get out of a tight spot or just need to get back in the fight very quickly. It no longer auto-heals you, gives full ammo, or depletes any effects like fire, Mad Milk, Girardi, and Bleed, etc. when you teleport back to respawn as of August 27th, 2015. This was to fix a bug of losing revenge crits, as touching the cabinet will take those away. This mechanic certainly is unique, and I hope to see more now that the Eureka effect is generally pretty okay. My closing statements are that this weapon is usable. It does seem like quite the tool or weapon now that it kind of has a purpose. It's very unique and it's more reliable now than it ever has been. I hope to see this weapon hopefully get much better still. I don't believe it's reached its absolute max potential, but we'll see. With that, I must shoo you off. I got some very dangerous, highly experimental molecule shifting to do.